I watched helplessly as the bodyguard carried my suitcase back to the room. Luna pulled me to sit on the sofa. Let's talk things out nicely. Don't always threaten to quit. No, I just don't want to work here anymore. It's not like I'm going back to my parents' place. Why are you making such a fuss? But then again, why did the young master come home at this hour today? Did someone tip him off? I glanced at Luna. Oh, Lucas, I just remembered that I haven't watered the grass in my garden yet. I have to go and take care of it now. Seeing that the young master was also about to leave, I quickly called him to stop. Is there still something? I really want to quit. The young master instantly looked gloomy and turned around in silence. After a long while, he said, "Come to my study." What on earth is wrong with you? I was just looking blankly at the exquisitely wrapped resignation letter in the trash can when I was suddenly startled by this question. Ah, the young master frowned. You can tell me what you're not satisfied with. No, I just want to quit. The young master pondered for a moment. Is the salary too low? Starting from next month, it can be 100,000 per month. I quickly waved my hand. No, young master, it's not a matter of money. Are you too busy with work? I can recruit an assistant for you. It's not that either. After being silent for a long time, the young master looked as if he understood. Then you still want to take a vacation. Do you want paid leave? Without waiting for me to answer, he nodded and said, okay, 3 months, no more. This is really making something out of nothing. I'm speechless. I forced a smile. Well, young master, I'm not young anymore. My mom called me a while ago and said she wants to have a grandson. She asked me to go home to get married and have children. The young master looked skeptical. Really? Really? As if. One night about a month ago, I was dozing off on the sofa. The sound of high heels woke me up. Miss Charlotte, the young master's secretary, was supporting the drunk young master and walking towards the main hall. Lucas, come quickly. I quickly ran over to take over. Sister Charlotte raised her hand to check her watch and showed a formulaic smile just in time. Not a single minute more. The overtime pay the boss gave is only enough to help him this far. The rest is up to you. She grabbed an orange and turned away without any delay. I carried the young master to the second-floor bedroom and was so exhausted that I sat on the edge of the bed, gasping for breath. Caught off guard, I was grabbed by the arm by the young master and pinned under him. The next second, he hugged me and kissed and bit me. Didn't they say that a drunk man can't get it up? But looking at the reaction below the young master, is he really drunk or not? Young master, you, just lie still. It hurt so much when it was penetrated that I grimaced in pain. The young master freed one hand to hold my face, and his fingertips brushed across my eyes. The tears were wiped away, and I was able to see his expression clearly. Although he usually doesn't smile much and his most common expression is a blank face. But at this moment, it was obvious that he was enjoying it. I left before dawn after that night, and I started to deliberately avoid him after that day, because I'm afraid that he'll get addicted to it and go astray. The young master is at a good age for marriage, and the master is still waiting for him to carry on the family line. But it's not a good idea to keep avoiding him, so I began to think about resigning. Coincidentally, the master has recently been arranging a marriage for him. Isabella came to the house for dinner last week. She is a charming and lovely girl, with a lively and cheerful personality and loves to laugh. She should get along well with the young master. I'm very satisfied, so I calmly submitted my resignation. The salary for this month has just been credited to my account, and I sent another resignation letter to his email. Goodbye, young master. After leaving the young master's house, I returned to Sien Village. I lied to him. My mother passed away when I was 7. After my father passed away 5 years ago, I've been all alone. There were cobwebs hanging all over the door of the small bungalow in Sien Village. Fortunately, the inside was still quite tidy. I can clean it up in an afternoon. After working hard at the young master's house for 10 years, I have a fairly substantial savings. I plan to live as a free person for the next 2 months. So from then on, I could sleep until I naturally woke up every day. I'd go to the market on even-numbered days and stroll around the fields on odd-numbered days. I made a fishing rod myself and would sit by the pond for an afternoon when the sun wasn't too strong. I could still be happy even if I caught nothing every day. I can just have a simple meal or skip dinner after going home at night. I don't have to worry about what the picky young master will eat for dinner anymore. By the way, I caught a little yellow dog while fishing one day, so from then on, I have to worry about dinner every day. I won't let the growing puppy suffer even if I have to. The days are passing by leisurely, but I still feel a bit off. Maybe it's because I'm too idle. So I redevelop the piece of land in the yard in front of the door, plant all kinds of vegetables. Then I'll be able to cook for the young master. Oh, how cheap I am. I feel even more off. 2 months later, the bok choy is ripe. However, for 3 consecutive days, I've noticed that the row of bok choy next to the road shows signs of being trampled. Almost a whole row is about to be trampled to death. I can't bear it. On the 4th day, I got up at 5 o'clock to stake out. When I opened the door, I found a Range Rover parked in the yard. The sky was just beginning to turn pale, and I could see a man in a suit and tie squatting next to the bok choy. That plump back of the head, that broad back. Who else could it be but my troublesome young master? I sighed and walked over to pat him on the shoulder. Young master, you. I was almost lifted up. My lips were firmly sealed, and one of his hands impatiently slipped into my clothes, fanning the flames everywhere. I frantically grabbed his hands and gasped, Young master, you're almost tearing my round neck shirt into AV neck. You. He bit me again. He was so seductive and clingy. Early in the morning, I felt all hot. I felt that half of my buttocks were cold. Young master, at least let's go inside the house first. Before I could finish speaking, my body suddenly lifted off the ground, and I was thrown over his shoulder. As the young master walked, he also thoughtfully pulled up my pants. It was already broad daylight, and I was so tired that my throat was parched. I pushed the person on me and said, Master, let's go out. I'm bursting. You suck on me. Suddenly, my face flushed. Could this be something I could control? Go out. There was a soft sound, and my face turned even redder. I pretended to lie there peacefully for a while, and my neck was rubbed from time to time. If I continued to lie there, something else would happen. I took out my phone and showed him the time. Master, it's time to go. I don't want to. His sexy voice saying childish things was really killing me. I tried to pull away the hand around my waist. Don't pull away from me. I tried to make small talk to change the topic. Young master, why are you stepping on my family's bok choy? The breath tickled my ear. You've taken good care of them. I was amused by his words. But you still can't step on them. After a pause, if you want to eat them, just tell me. I'll pack a big bag for you. Saying that, I sat up and said, I'll go pick some for you right away. Unfortunately, I ultimately failed to do that sit up. My lower back was as sore as if it had been soaked. My inner thighs were still twitching. I raised my arm to block the light and said, Young master, you're really something. If it were someone else, they'd sue you for illegal abuse. What will you do when you get married in the future? A big hand covered my endless chatter. He got impatient after just 2 sentences. I turned over and faced the wall. Remember to close the door when you leave. The young master is a very busy person. He can't stay here all day. I'm also busy catching up on my sleep. I slept until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. My lips were as dry as if I had been to the desert myself. If nothing unexpected happens, I should have a fever, indulging in a moment of pleasure, to still myself who suffers. What's the point? The door was scratched loudly. Only then did I remember that Xiao Huang hadn't eaten for a whole day. I limped out, and it jumped into my arms at once. My Xiao Huang is still the best. Come on, Dad will make something for you to eat. After taking the medicine and lying in bed at night, I thought about what had happened today. Why did the young master ask me to sleep with him again? I patted the bed and said, Xiao Huang, come up quickly and help Dad analyze it. Let me introduce the situation of both sides to you first. The young master is usually quite abstinent. That time when he was drunk last time was probably the first time. He is at an age full of vigor, so it's understandable that he couldn't hold back. As for me, first of all, I'm a man and can't give birth. Secondly, it was also my first time and I'm clean and have no diseases. Thirdly, I won't ask him for money. I slapped my thigh and said, right? It's just to satisfy physiological needs. If I were him, I'd also be willing to find someone like me. Am I right, Xiao Huang? As soon as I finished speaking, Xiao Huang barked woof, woof, woof loudly, giving me full affirmation. But why did it keep barking and even jumped off the bed to bark? Faintly, I could still hear the bang, bang, bang sound of knocking on the door, which was getting clearer and clearer. Oh my God, it's already 10 o'clock. Who is it? Opening the door, I saw a guy in all black with sunglasses standing at the door. He handed me a big bag of stuff. It's from the young master for you. It was heavy. I went back inside and opened it to take a look. There was half a bag of food and half a bag of oils and condoms of different brands. At this, I was truly extremely angry. What does he take this place for? A guest house thousands of miles away. I took the bag of stuff out and threw it away that night. On my way back, a message popped up on my phone. Did you receive the stuff? For the first time in my life, I actively called him. No. I leisurely passed another month. One ordinary morning, I received a phone call. Your vacation ended at 10:25 a.m. Yesterday. Why haven't you come back yet? Master, no. William, I've quit. Can you understand that? There was a silence on the other end of the phone for about 30 seconds, and then he hung up. That night, the door was knocked loudly again. Xiao Huang also came along to join in the fun. I opened the door a crack while holding Xiao Huang. Go back. Young master, this isn't a place you should come to. The young master felt embarrassed and left with a dark look on his face. The next day, Sister Charlotte called. With a beaming smile, she said, "Did you have a quarrel with your young master?" "I don't think so." "Why do you ask?" "It's nothing. It's just that now the whole Dongyang city knows that he's recruiting a butler. Let me read out the employment requirements for you. Male, height 179 centimeters, round face, big eyes, slightly curly hair but not too curly. Do you know what the special note is?" I was utterly speechless and asked, "What is it?" "Those with dimples at the corners of the mouth will be given priority." I might as well just announce your ID number directly. After Sister Charlotte had laughed enough, she said again, "I'm telling you two not to play any tricks. Come back quickly, otherwise, if he really finds a substitute and brings them back, you'll cry your eyes out." I smiled and said, "I don't think I'll go back. The young master is stubborn and nostalgic. He'll be fine after a while." At the beginning of the year, when I was tidying up the young master's study and dusting, I took out a slingshot from the top of the bookshelf. That thing was made on the spot 10 years ago when I forgot to prepare a birthday gift for the young master. The yellow-skinned one had turned brown, so I just threw it away for him. As a result, he got really sulky. I had to stay up all night to make another one to appease him. On the next day, the gardener James called me. He said that the young master went to the company early in the morning and snatched his job. He held a big pipe and sprayed water everywhere, killing more than half of the delicate flowers that James had carefully tended. On the second day, the chef Jack also called. He said that the young master disliked the dinner he cooked and insisted on cooking by himself. As a result, he burned his hand with blisters. On the third day, Luna also called me. She said that the young master disliked the bed she made not soft enough and drove away from home by himself in the middle of the night. 2 hours later, I faintly heard a knock on the door. Xiao Wang ran over, pawed at my hand, and bit my trouser leg to lead me to the door. When I opened the door, it was exactly my young master who looked as if he had just walked on the catwalk and then dug coal. I sighed and said, "Come in, young master." Late at night, under the warm yellow light, two men were lying on the same couch with their feet touching. The young master stretched out a hand and asked me to prick the blisters for him. "There's only one here. Where did the full hand come from?" Appropriate exaggeration helps to attract attention. Convey emotions. Stop. You're fabricating facts. It's done. Go to sleep. After turning off the light, the young master and I were lying side by side in bed. As I was getting drowsy, he suddenly said, "Lucas, your mother actually passed away." Only then did the silly young master react. I turned over and said lazily, "Yes, she's been gone for 10 or 20 years. I don't know what kind of family she's been reborn into." "Then why did you resign?" "Why else?" "Because I'm afraid of becoming a jealous man." But what came out of my mouth was because we're both of age. The old master is looking forward to your early marriage. When there's a mistress in the house, my role as the butler won't be that important. As for me, I also want to start a family. Otherwise, I'll just be the topic of the village ladies' tea parties. I can do it. Huh? What can you do? Lucas, come back with me. I can start a family with you. I leaned over and felt the young master's forehead. You don't have a fever. Why are you talking nonsense? Suddenly, my wrist was grabbed. The young master turned his head. Due to the backlight, it was hard to see his expression. Lucas, I know what I'm saying. I sighed and pulled back my hand. Young master, let me analyze it for you. Starting a family means getting married. It emphasizes being well matched in social status. And it's best to have mutual affection. Which of these do we meet? We've received the same education, and our values are in sync. You came to my family when you were 7 or 8, so you're from the same household as me. This is being well matched in social status. As for mutual affection, I can't live without you. And you. Stop, stop, stop. Your analysis is worse than no analysis at all. The first point is wrong. Do you like me? Silence means you like me. I have similar feelings for you. Young master, do you know what love is? It can't be that just because you had an excellent experience sleeping with me that you call it love, right? There was a moment of silence. Could it be that I've guessed right? I closed my eyes and slowly drifted off to sleep. But the young master from my childhood appeared in my dream. The young master and I grew up almost together. After my mother passed away, my father took me to the city. The master was kind-hearted and allowed my father to keep me by his side. Later, He even allowed me to go to school with the young master. When I first arrived at the Fong family, I was at an age when everyone disliked me. The young master was only 1 year older than me, but he behaved in a mature and steady manner. But in my eyes at that time, he was just a dull-witted and overly rule-abiding little kid. At that time, I hadn't gotten rid of my wild ways as a country boy. The Fong family mansion was extremely large, so I dragged the young master around all day long. I climbed trees to pick fruits and asked the young master to hold a cloth below to catch them. I went into the pond to catch fish and shrimps and asked the young master to hold a bucket on the shore and wait for me. I asked him to take me to the attic to watch the stars, asked him to steal snacks for me from the kitchen at night, and even once, when I was really crazy about playing, I asked the young master to be my horse. It was this time that my father found out. He found a stick as thick as a thumb and whipped me so hard that I couldn't get out of bed for a week. After that, I became well behaved. When the young master came back from school, I took the initiative to carry his school bag. When he read for a long time, I quickly ran to get eye drops and bring fruits for him. No matter how late he studied, I waited until he fell asleep before going back to my room. So later, when the young master set up his own household, I naturally became his personal butler. A severe beating led to a job with an annual salary almost reaching 1 million years later. Speaking of which, I really have to thank my hot-tempered father. It's a pity that my father didn't give me a few more whacks when I started to have feelings for the young master. Thinking about it, I really can't blame the old man, because even I can't tell when I started to fall in love with the young master. The moonlight outside the window is too bright, piercing through the old dreams, falling on the young master's face. It appears so gentle. The old master has been kind to both me and my father. I must never do such a wicked thing as to cut off someone's family line. How does that saying go? There are plenty of fish in the sea, and there will always be a way out. Horizontal scroll. There's no shortage of the young master. Parentheses. I'm talking about the grass. After the young master left in the morning, I also went out. When I passed by the village entrance on my way back, I received the gazes of the gathered ants again. I was wearing a pair of shoes with shoelaces today, so I squatted down and pretended to be very busy. As a result, I heard something like, in front of the courtyard, a luxury car, a big boss, young, a pretty boy. Needless to say, the last 3 words must be referring to me. Well, it makes sense. At my age, I should be out making a name for myself. I can't just lie around at home. I'm going to become a big boss too. Thanks to the blessings of heaven, I was still using my phone to search, what can a butler turn into this morning? The opportunity came this afternoon. Xian Village is nestled between the Shenlu Mountain and the Lanyan Lake. In recent years, more and more people have been traveling, and there are also more and more homestays in the mountains. In the afternoon, when I went for a stroll in that area, I happened to see someone posting a homestay for sale sign. As soon as he finished posting, I immediately took down the paper and went inside. I'm determined to be the boss of this place. After a conversation, I learned that this homestay was run by a middle-aged couple. Their daughter, who lives far across the ocean, is pregnant with fraternal twins and is about to give birth. She has asked them to go over and help take care of the children. The business of this shop is doing okay. The couple is transferring the business with a heavy heart. The price was quickly negotiated. When I was leaving, the landlady suddenly asked, "Lucas, you young people know a lot. Can you introduce some ways to learn foreign languages to us 2 old fogies?" I was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "Uncle and Aunt, if you trust me, I can also teach you." I learned my oral English with the young master. Although it's not as good as his for international business, it's more than enough for daily communication. The landlady happily agreed and said that, as a token of gratitude, she would teach me all her years of operation experience. So I started a 2.1 line life between home and the homestay. 1 month later, I officially took over this homestay. On an ordinary afternoon, I was doing the accounts at the front desk. A familiar sound of high heels hitting the ground rang out. Looking up, I saw Sister Charlotte, tall and beautiful, leading the way, and the young master, noble and cold, a few steps behind, and cute Isabella standing beside the young master. Is this a film shooting crew? Lucas, come out to greet the guests. I came to my senses and immediately smiled and said, Coming, are you here for a trip?" Sister Charlotte poured herself a cup of tea and took a big gulp. "It's a team-building event for the company headquarters. Mr. William asked me to choose a place near Xian Village. When I searched, I found there was really a scenic area near Xian Village, and there were also many accommodations. We've already booked 2 places, but your young master insisted on booking another one. I was wondering what was so special about this third place. It turns out the special thing is you. Are there only 3 of you? No. There are 4 more behind, including the 3 of us. There are 7 in total. Are there enough rooms? Wait a moment. Let me check. What bad luck. Sister Charlotte, there are only 6 empty rooms left. What do you think? Sister Charlotte made a pause gesture and then turned to look behind her. Boss, what's the deal? The young master looked at me. I'll stay in your room. Isabella whispered and asked, is it okay? Elder Sister Charlotte took a few steps back, put her arm around Isabella's neck, and said affectionately, it couldn't be better. It doesn't matter for 2 men to squeeze together. We just can't let the girls be wronged. Didn't anyone ask for my opinion? Elder Sister Charlotte said that this group building activity was on a voluntary sign-up basis. The company was responsible for arranging transportation and accommodation, and the rest was up to them. They would leave after 2 days, so you don't need to meet at the base camp when having dinner tonight? Elder Sister Charlotte nodded. That's right, Lucas. Do you still have any grapes? Give me some more. I washed 2 large plates of grapes and brought them in front of her. What would you like to eat tonight? Do you have roast whole lamb? I saw the photos posted in the group by the people staying in Guanshan Courtyard. It looks really good. I forced a smile and said, our store doesn't have many customers. Generally, I only order it when a customer requests. I'm afraid you won't be able to have it today. Moreover, the young master doesn't like mutton-related food. It doesn't matter, Boss Lou. Just make arrangements as you like. The weather is nice today. There should be stars tonight. Then let's have an outdoor barbecue. There is still some time before dinner. Sister Charlotte and Isabella have already gotten together and started chatting. The other 4 people went to the mahjong room. Only the young master is left sitting upright on the sofa, looking rather lonely. Young William, would you like to go for a stroll with me? Are you calling me? I resisted the urge to roll my eyes. Who else could it be? Young master. There is a piece of land behind the homestay. The previous owners, the boss and his wife, were hard, working people and planted a lot of fruits and vegetables. I handed a vegetable basket to the young master. Pick whatever you want to eat. They are all organic and pollution-free. I haven't been to this piece of land for almost a week. Another batch of cherry tomatoes has grown. They are hanging all over the branches, looking so lovely. Just as I picked a bunch of cherry tomatoes, a vegetable basket was stretched out from behind me diagonally. This scene made me feel a momentary daze. I put the bunch of cherry tomatoes into the basket and turned around. The young master was standing about a step behind me, in a suit, with a straight posture and a calm expression, as if that simple act of stretching out the basket was the most ordinary thing. Young master, do you like cherry tomatoes? I don't like them, but I can eat them. I couldn't help laughing out loud. What was wrong with the young master today? Then could you please carry this vegetable basket in my hand? Young master, okay. Saying that, he took the vegetable basket hanging on my arm. We picked all over this vegetable field. 2 big baskets were filled with cucumbers, eggplants, green beans, corns, towel gourds, and so on. The young master carried them all by himself. When passing by the front yard, we saw 2 beautiful ladies taking pictures of Xiao Huang non-stop. Xiao Huang saw me and barked once. The next second, I saw Sister Charlotte pointing her phone this way. Lucas, you're amazing. The eldest young master has transformed into a little attendant. Then she pointed the camera at the young master, as if she was making a video. Friends at Guanshan Courtyard, we're having an outdoor barbecue tonight. The vegetables were picked by the boss himself. Limited spots, first come, first served. After putting the vegetables in the back kitchen, I found that there was black mud all around my shoes. It rained last night, and the fields were still a bit wet. The young master's leather shoes were in a much worse state. I propped my hands on my knees, looked up at him with a big smile and said, young master, your handmade leather shoes are in trouble. What should we do? He gave me a hand. Go back to the room to change shoes. You accompany me. As soon as they entered the room, the young master started answering the phone. I rummaged through his suitcase. What a mess you've brought. In the past, when he went on business trips, I always packed his suitcase for him. But looking at the current layout, it was obvious that he hadn't sought outside help. I didn't find any spare shoes, but I did find a pair of Mickey Mouse slippers. One summer vacation during college, I went to an ancient town with my classmates. When I came back, I brought gifts for Luna, Jack, and James, but I only forgot about the young master, mainly because subconsciously, I thought he lacked nothing. Because of this incident, the young master had a gloomy face whenever he saw anyone and didn't even eat dinner. I really couldn't think of what to buy for him. I was so worried that I wandered aimlessly in the park. As I was wandering, I saw a stall selling slippers. The old man said it was 30 for 1 pair and 50 for 2 pairs. I made up my mind and directly bought 2 pairs. One pair was black and the other was white. After I got back, I respectfully presented them in front of the young master. From then on, whenever he went on a business trip, he would bring one of the pairs with him, saying that his feet were used to these shoes. This time, he brought the black pair. I took out the shoes and closed the suitcase. Just then, the young master looked over here. I waved my hand, signaling him to come over and change his shoes. The young master was still on the phone, switching back and forth between Chinese, English, and German. After taking off his shoes and socks, he naturally slipped his feet into the slippers with one of the Mickey Mouse eyes missing. He was talking about an 8-figure deal while wearing 2-digit slippers. This kind of operation. I knew it. He is very nostalgic. For the outdoor barbecue at night, another 5 or 6 people came. The chef had gone off work early. There were obviously not enough dishes. After taking a small plate of lamb leg meat, I went to the back kitchen to prepare dishes obediently. When I was almost done, a tall figure staggered in. I pretended to be serious and said, "Young master, this is a restricted area of the kitchen. No admittance for idlers." The young master leaned against the doorframe, looking rather casual for a change. They can't relax when I'm there. Judging from his somewhat slurred tone, he must have been drunk. I brought a small stool and placed it beside his feet, then washed a bunch of cherry tomatoes and put them in his hand. "Sit here and wait for me." After all the dishes were served, I moved 2 rocking chairs and placed them at the door of the back kitchen. There was a small flower bed nearby. The fragrance of the flowers at night was like a melodious piano piece, very soothing, with some chilled watermelon. Couldn't have been more comfortable. "Sit down, young master." I took a piece of watermelon and ate it slowly. The sounds of merriment in the distance came one after another. Without the young master around, they started to perform talent shows. Taking advantage of the moment when I threw away the watermelon rind, I glanced at the side. The young master refused the rocking chair and still sat on the small bench. His legs were slightly apart, his elbows rested on his knees, and his hands were clasped together. His eyes were fixed on the ground, looking as if he was thinking about some difficult problem. What kind of problem could trouble the young master like this? He suddenly looked up, and I didn't have time to withdraw my gaze before I directly met his eyes. I awkwardly laughed twice and said, "Well, the watermelon is quite sweet. Do you want a piece?" The young master held down my hand that was holding the watermelon and asked, "How do I pursue someone?" My heart skipped a beat. I subconsciously avoided his gaze and just happened to meet Isabella's charming smile. "So he is troubled by love." I curved my lips and patiently said, "When it comes to pursuing someone, you should cater to their interests. Surround her and overwhelm her with your love, your affection, and your attentiveness. Coupled with your outstanding external conditions, there shouldn't be much of a problem. Then what do you like?" "Me?" I laughed twice and then continued, "What I like isn't important. What matters is what Isabella likes. If you really can't guess, you can just go and ask her." At this point, I suddenly couldn't laugh anymore. My heart started beating faster involuntarily. I lowered my eyes and quietly waited for it to calm down. With each breath, my eyes even felt a bit hot. "Young master." "Yes." "Is it what I'm thinking it means?" "Yes. I want to court you." I lay back in the rocking chair, raised my hand to cover my eyes, and said with a smile, "Young master, there is a good news and a bad news. Which one do you want to hear first?" The young master didn't answer, and I just went on talking on my own. "The good news is that I like you. You don't need to court me. The bad news is," I sniffed and continued, "it's impossible for us." The young master looked even more confused than before and stubbornly asked, "Why?" I met his focused gaze and said word by word, "Because if 2 men are together, people will point fingers at our backs. I don't care." After looking at each other for 5 seconds, I gave in, with my head down. Like a coward, I whispered, "I care. Young master, I care." At 1 o'clock in the morning, I was lying in bed beside the young master again. After closing my eyes, the young master's dejected look after being rejected kept appearing in my mind. My heart felt sour and swollen, as if a needle had been pricked in it, stinging me from time to time. Hearing the even breathing beside me, I carefully turned over and sized up the person in front of me by the faint moonlight. Unconsciously, I began to recall the things that happened between the young master and me since childhood. There were funny, annoying, and sad things. It seems that most of my joys and sorrows in the past 20 years have been related to him. If I were to separate him from my life, I would really have to seal my heart and lock away my love. I really can't bear to let go. I can't bear to let him be criticized even more. Suddenly, an arm was placed around my waist. Lucas, you lied to me. I twitched the corners of my mouth and whispered, what did I lie to you about? You don't care at all. I do care, young master. Then you keep staring at me. Sorry, I won't look anymore. As I said, I turned over and moved to the side, but was dragged back by the hand on my waist, until I was completely nestled in his arms. He rested his chin on my shoulder and whispered like a murmur, I'm very happy that you said you like me. That night, you asked me if I knew what love was. I thought about it for a long time after I went back. I've never loved anyone, so I can't give an accurate definition. I only know that I can't live without you. After you leave, I'll be in a daze from time to time. Only when I come to my senses do I realize that I'm thinking of you. I want to hear you talk, see you smile, and be close to you. I can't imagine a future without you. Lucas, do you believe in my love? Yes, I do. Then, would you like to be my lover? Sure, but I just can't say these two words. I wiped my eyes, then turned over to face him. Do you have any plans for tomorrow? No. Then, do you want to spend a day with me? Just one day. I swallowed the sob and forced a smile. Well, one day is enough. After having breakfast in the morning, Sister Charlotte and Isabella went to Lan Lake, while the others went to Xianlu Mountain. After arranging things in the shop, I headed straight for the room. As expected, the young master was busy again. I placed a handful of jasmine in my palm beside him. Stop working, I'll take you somewhere. There were 2 bicycles parked in the backyard. The young master gave me a questioning look. Yes, we'll go by bike. I taught you how to ride a bike when you were a kid. Haven't you forgotten it? The young master swung his long legs over the bike and sat on it. He rang the bell. Xiao Huang suddenly emerged from somewhere and jumped into the bike basket. He also turned his head and stuck out his tongue at me with a smile. The young master stepped on the pedals and pushed off. And just like that, he and the dog rode off looking fresh and lively. All right, parent-child trip is also good. Ride all the way and look around all the way. The distant mountains are green, and the nearby waters are misty. After passing through a bamboo forest and going down a slope, the view becomes broad. Just after the harvest, the air is filled with the fragrance of straw. Sunflowers as big as wash basins, half green and half yellow persimmons, ginkgo nuts all over the ground, and smartweed swaying in the wind. Most of the time, it's me talking and the young master listening. Xiao Huang barks a few times occasionally. Is not really responding to me, but rather because he has seen his crush. Near noon, we arrived at the small bungalow. The young master selects the vegetables and I cook. We simply had a meal. At 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun is shining brightly. I'm used to taking a nap, so I also pull the young master to sleep together. When I woke up, I found the young master sitting against the head of the bed. I looked at him, and he also looked at me. At this moment, the fluttering in the heart can hardly end without 2 kisses. But Xiao Huang is still at the foot of the bed. Barrett, make it up together at night. I rolled over and got up, striding out of the house. Come on, young master, carry our small basket on your back. I'll take you to pick pears. I stood under a pear tree with my hands on my hips and looked up. It wasn't this tall when I saw it as a kid. Did it secretly grow taller behind my back? One hand supported the back of my head. Stop looking. If you want pears, I'll have the driver send you a few boxes later. That won't do. The pears you send definitely won't be as sour as the ones on this tree. I have to let you taste them today. Go all out at the first try, climb up quickly the second time, and pick the pears the third time. Young master, catch. After shouting the first time, all I had to do next was pick the pears and throw them down. With our years of tacit understanding, the young master will definitely not let any pear fall to the ground. Is it full? It's full. Come down and watch your step. When I was about 1 meter above the ground, the young master stretched out his arms and waited beside me. If I jump, I'll surely fall into his arms. It was like this when I was a child, and it's still the same now. While Xiao Huang was busy making marks, I couldn't help but rub my lips against the corner of his mouth. Let's go, young master. I'll take you to the next place. There is a banyan tree as thick as 2 people can hug beside the pond where I usually go wild fishing. One of its branches, for some unknown reason, grew horizontally and bent for a while, forming a natural tree bench. It was on that bench that I found Xiao Huang, who was so hungry that he was whining. Xiao Huang jumped up first and lay there. I sat next to it with the young master. I picked up a pear, wiped it casually, and took a bite. Surprisingly, it tasted really good. I held the pear to the young master's mouth and said, "Have a taste? It's not sour at all. You can eat it by yourself. Do you dislike me?" "No, it's better for each person to have their own pear." It was rare to see the young master stuttering. I stared at his face for a long time. Suddenly, I had an epiphany. I moved even closer and said with a smile, "Young master, do you also believe in this?" "Yes." I pouted and said, "All right then, I won't share with you from now on." The young master grabbed my wrist and said, "Except for this, you can share anything with me. I won't dislike it." I held his hand back and said with a smile, "Got it, silly young master." The cool breeze in early autumn blew gently, and the water surface gradually turned orange. "How do you feel about this day with me?" "It's great. I feel free." I looked into the distance and said, "Before I came to your house, on the days when I didn't go to school, I spent almost every day like this. Do you want to live like this in the future?" "In the future?" The young master is asking me about the future. I smiled and said, "I don't know. Let's go. It's time to go back." When I lay in bed at night, I kept thinking about the 2 kisses I had been longing for during the day. The more I thought about it, the drier my mouth became. I got out of bed to drink a glass of water. When I came back, I happened to see the young master who had just finished taking a shower. His strong upper body was bare, and he only wrapped a bath towel around his lower body. His semi-dry hair was combed back, and his skin was slightly steaming. Even his eyes became moist. It seemed that something was twining in the silent air. It made me keep moving forward, step by step, and I stopped at a distance of 1 foot. The young master's gaze fell on my lips, as if it had substance, making my heart contract with a jolt. Young Moss. The distance of 1 foot also disappeared. It went dark in front of my eyes. Just a simple kiss on the lips actually brought a kind of satisfaction like quenching thirst. But I still wanted more. I wrapped my arms around his neck and deepened the kiss. The hands on his waist tightened more and more. It seemed that all the blood in my body was boiling and roaring. I hugged him and fell onto the bed, gasping and smiling. "Young master, do you know how to write the 4 characters, do whatever one wants?" The breathing in my ears grew heavier, and the reaction beneath me was clearly perceptible. I hugged his shoulders tightly and closed my eyes to respond to his kiss. We both only slept for 4 hours. The young master had already gone out for a morning run, while I felt as if my soul had been sucked away. I happened to meet Sister Charlotte when I went downstairs. "Lucas? Why are your eyes so swollen? I almost didn't recognize you. Your lips are also chapped, and your little face is so pale. Don't tell me you were so reluctant to part with your young master that you had a long heart-to-heart talk with him all night last night." I avoided her inquisitive gaze and gave a brief smile. "It's nothing." "Well, Sister Charlotte, when are you leaving today?" "After breakfast." "Why?" I nodded. "I have something to do in town today. When you leave, I won't see you off. Also, Sister Charlotte, please tell the young master for me." "What?" "Don't come to see me again in the future." After that day, I returned to a peaceful life again. I just occasionally recalled what Sister Charlotte said before she left. She told me to wait a little longer. I didn't understand what she meant, seeing that she seemed unable to say more. I didn't ask. In a blink of an eye, winter had arrived. I bought a few electric heaters a few days ago, and they just arrived. While helping the driver unload the goods, I suddenly felt a sense of unease for no reason. At dinner that night, I accidentally broke the bowl. I was staring blankly at the broken porcelain when a bustling figure rushed in. "Lucas! Lucas! Where are you?" I stood up and walked outside. "I'm here." Sister Charlotte, after seeing me, she ran over in a few steps and grabbed my arm. "Hurry up and pack some personal belongings. I'll wait for you in the car." Before I could say anything, she ran off again. There was a car parked at the door, the one the young master usually drove. After getting in the car, Sister Charlotte was still on the phone. "Dear Isabella, I've picked him up. You just tell him that we've already gotten off the highway." "Okay. Bye." After the car started, Sister Charlotte suddenly turned around and said, "Lucas, don't blame your sister for not warning you. When you see your young master in 2 hours, don't cry." "What's wrong with him?" "It's nothing. He just came out of the closet to old Mr. Fong, and he took half of the Fong family's fortune with him. By the way, Lucas, let's make it clear first. When you get married to the boss, I have to sit at the main table. I've been so exhausted these months. Your young master, too, after he came back from his last vacation, he probably hasn't had many full nights of sleep. Well, now, after being whipped by the old master a dozen times, he was directly sent to the hospital. The moment I walked into the ward, my heart seemed to stop for a moment. An indescribable pain spread densely from my chest. My throat was dry and blocked, and I couldn't say a word. The young master was lying prone on the bed, with his brows tightly furrowed and his face completely bloodless. After opening his eyes, he was in a daze for a moment before relaxing his furrowed brows and forcing a faint smile. He raised his hand with difficulty and touched my face. saying, "Don't cry." I wiped my eyes and tried to smile more beautifully. I gently touched his forehead. "Master, I'm here." During the master's hospital stay, I wanted to go several times to apologize to the old master, but I was always stopped. He said I didn't owe the Fong family anything and didn't need to go. During this period, the master's younger brother also came once. According to Sister Charlotte, he was specifically dragged back from abroad by the master to inherit the remaining half of the family business. Half a month later, the doctor permitted him to be discharged from the hospital. I asked the master, "Anyway, you don't have to go to the company now. Do you want to go back to Xian village with me? I'll support you." A hint of a smile appeared in the master's eyes. "Okay." The master went back to the homestay with me. Although it was supposed to be me supporting him, I ended up being a hands-off manager. During this time, the master's younger brother came to the door many times, crying and begging the master to go back to the company. Without exception, he was refused. The master even secretly taught Xiao Huang not to let him in. I know that with the master's ability, he would never stop at this small homestay. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken half of the Fong family's assets. When chatting about this topic, he said, "I joined the family company before I graduated. I had to be meticulous about all matters, big and small, and was extremely annoyed by balancing the interests of all parties. After all these years, I'm really a bit tired, so I also thought that I should take this opportunity to leave and do something on my own." "Okay, will Sister Charlotte still follow you?" The master shook his head. "No. She was poached by Isabella." "When did they become so close?" "I don't know. Anyway, there's no one I can trust around me now. Will you help me?" "Me? How can I do it? What can't you do? You were in the same major as me in college. Don't you remember anything I taught you in the study all these years?" "All right, let me think about it." On Chinese New Year's Eve, it was also the young master's birthday. Luna, James, Jack, Sister Charlotte, and Isabella all came. After dinner, Jack brought out a 3-tiered cake. I lit the candles and asked the young master to make a wish. After making a wish and blowing out the candles, a little cake got on his cuff when we were dividing the cake. While I turned around to get some tissues, the young master knelt down on one knee. Cheers suddenly rose around. Bang bang, several sounds rang out, and gorgeous fireworks bloomed overhead. I sniffed. "Young master, what are you doing?" He took my left hand and slowly pushed a ring from the tip of my ring finger to the base. He pinched that finger and examined it repeatedly before showing a satisfied look. Then he tilted his head slightly, and his deep, focused eyes seemed to suck me in. "Marry me." Seeing that I didn't respond, he said it again. "Lucas, will you marry me?" I wiped away my tears and squatted down to hold his face. "Silly young master, who proposes after putting on the ring first?" He pulled my hand down and held it in his palm. "I'm afraid you won't agree. I'm afraid you'll push me away again." "How could that be?" I leaned over and kissed the corner of his mouth. "I'm willing, young master."